Guys, and welcome back to another video. Now this is my DIY faux shiplap wall that I did, and it was under $10, you guys. Let me first start by stating the inspiration for this wall came from Ashley Lauren's channel, and I saw her use tape and I was like, oh my god, I want that look. And I did change mine up just a little bit, but you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll put a link to her channel down below. First things first though, I'm removing the wallpaper that I had up there. This was a peel and stick wallpaper that I put up about 2 years ago. I did love it. I love the color blue. That's my favorite color. I love the blue up there with the accent, but the only problem I had with the wallpaper was that at the top of my wall, it didn't stick very well. So it kept peeling back, and I would have to go in with like a tool to kind of push it back up there and make sure it stayed. I would wake up sometime and it would just be peeling off the wall, and that was the only problem that I had because I had textured walls. Now, all I'm doing now is moving the furniture out the way, moving my couch out the way, and I'm getting ready to wipe down my walls real good. It did leave a slightly sticky residue, but it wasn't a bad residue or anything like that. So if you're looking at getting peel and stick wallpaper, I would highly suggest it. Just know that if you have textured walls, it will be a little difficult, especially being here in Texas and it gets humid, it gets hot. Yeah, I don't think that helped with the factors of this. So just stay tuned, and I'm going to show you and give you more detailed in-depth on how I created this wall. Now the only thing that I used to clean the walls off was just a bucket of hot water with Fabuloso and bleach in it, and it does a really good job at getting my walls clean. I pretty much don't have any problems with the solution that I make. It really did help cut down that stickiness on the wall, so that's what I was really looking for, is getting rid of the residue from the wallpaper. After I wiped down the walls and the baseboard really well, I went ahead and vacuumed this area. Anytime I move my couches away from my walls, I go ahead and vacuum. That's just a habit because I don't pull my couches away from my wall that often. So when I do, I like to make sure that area gets extra clean. Alright you guys, let's get started. What I have is my leveler, and I'm using that to mark every 6 inches down the length of the wall with a pencil. After I did that, I took my leveler, turned it widthwise, and I marked from the beginning of where my 6 inches started across to the end with a pencil. I didn't mark a straight line or anything like that. I just did a slight line and then went to the next spot and did another line. You're going to see it more in depth in just a little bit. She had a laser leveler, and I didn't have one, and I didn't want to buy one because I wanted to keep this under $10. So this was my way of doing it, and I actually did a test strip of tape to make sure this came out straight and even. Even though it is tedious, it did work and it gets the job done. It does take work, but my lines were nice and straight. Now I will say this, the hardest part about doing this project was the top of the wall. That is why I chose to go down the length of the wall every 6 inches until I got to the middle of the wall so that I could start my line from there. The reason I did this was because I didn't want to lose motivation on doing this project, because it's easy to do so when you're having to get up and down on a ladder. You're trying to see the results and you're trying to keep yourself motivated, but it doesn't look like there's an end in sight. I will also say this, if you do not have a laser leveler, this is a very important step to do to level your wall all the way across. It doesn't take long, it wasn't hard, it wasn't tedious or anything, even though it may look like it is, but it helps to ensure that your lines are straight and level, because when you're up against the wall, it didn't look level. So my kids were in the background letting me know, like, yes, mama, the line is actually straight, and my ruler was actually straight. Now, when Ashley Lauren did her wall, she just did the tape going straight across for the shiplap feel. It was beautiful and it was gorgeous for her area, but for who I am and my decorating style, I like the plank wood look, where it looks like you added bits and pieces of shiplap to the wall. So what I did was take the tape in different areas to give it that plank look feel, and I'm going to give you more of an in-close and show you how I did that with the tape, and that way it almost looks like each individual plank of shiplap was laid out on the wall. And here's a view of the tape that I used to do this, you guys. Now, as I stated earlier, the most tedious part about this wall was the very top, and that was getting up and down the ladder, moving it back and forth to where I needed it to go. It was very tedious doing that, and it started hurting my feet at the end. This took me about 2 days to do, and that's just because, like I said, going to that top part of the wall, I wanted to lose momentum to do it, but because I had did the middle and I loved the way it turned out, my mom encouraged me and my sister were helping me out also, I was able to go ahead and just kind of get it done. Now, one of the things I did consider was that I did not take the tape straight across all the way down behind my couch, and that's because it covers up that part of the wall. So there was no need for me to go all the way down and take it all the way across when it's going to be covered up anyway. And plus, I have plenty of tape left over that if I ever switch the position of my couch, I can. So now let me show you more in depth what I'm doing. Like I said, I go down the length from every 6 inches down the length and I make a mark. And then I take my leveler and I bring it across widthwise and I go from one end to the next end, making sure I'm leveled, and I make a mark on each end of my leveler, and that way I can come out with a straight line. Now when I'm laying my tape, I don't lay it I don't lay it flat across. I don't allow it to touch the wall. I lay it from one end and I press, and then I take it to the next end and I press that end to ensure that my tape was straight. Allow my tape to touch the wall. I go from each mark that I've made and I let it touch the wall at that point, and then I smooth it out. Another thing that I do is after I'm finished laying my lines and I'm making sure my tape is smooth out, I get my hot glue gun and I add just a dot and I kind of drag it down a little bit to secure the ends of the tape, and that's it. I do it on both ends. Now the next thing that I do is that I look at and I kind of measure how I want my board to look, and I make just a straight line with the tape. And then I take my box cutter and I cut off the ends and I go down the middle on a jagged, kind of disrupting the line. It's not straight, it's not perfect, because I want it to look like a shadow effect. This sounds difficult, I know, but maybe you seeing it can help you visualize it a little better. It's not. You do not want a straight line, because a shadow is not a straight line. That's why you kind of want a disrupted, jagged line, and that's why I did it that way. Alright, you guys, we are finished. Malcolm helped me get the couches back, and I vacuumed and cleaned everything up and put everything back. I cannot express how I love the look of this wall. It turned out great. It not only stayed in my feel of the chic, rustic look, but you guys, I video conferenced my mom and my sister, and I sent my brother pictures. They thought I put up wallpaper. They literally thought I put up wallpaper, and this was under $10 with tape. It is literally renter friendly. The tape comes off and the hot glue comes off. I will link Ashley Lauren's video at the bottom so you can see how she did her wall. But if I tell you, I love the way this turned out. This is even something you could do in your home if you don't want anything permanent. It turned out wonderful. So, okay, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my content and my page, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I post again. And I definitely will see you in the next video. Bye.